Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Well, hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of SFP Now. The interview this week is with Nick Tarabay, who I actually interviewed him the first time for Monsters and Critics, for monstersandcritics.com, when he was doing Spartacus, God to the Arena. This is actually a fairly new interview. It's about 20 minutes long. I recorded it a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, it was a pretty bad phone line, so we've had to clean it up a little bit and put in a few insert edits. But in the interview, he talks about his feelings about how his character was written out as Spartacus, and we also touch on the new Star Trek movie, which he happens to be casting. So without further ado, I'm just going to run the interview, and immediately after the interview, we'll go over some of the week's sci-fi and genre news. So here goes. Speaking to Nick Tarabay, all the way in the USA, and you finished Spartacus Vengeance a few months back and lost your head.
I lost my head literally before that, so yes, it was the end of Ashur, I guess.
Yeah, so I was kind of like disappointed. I was hoping you'd survive to season 4.
Yeah, obviously, I love the show a lot, and it was a great experience to be on. And I can't see my character going any further than he already went, because as you see in Vengeance, he just he took it to a different level altogether. I mean, if you look at Vengeance, for example, the Ashur that we saw in Vengeance versus the Ashur that we saw in God to the Arena is a completely different person, and he really evolved, and he really came to his own man in a way, whatever that meant to him. So, to continue after that, I don't know what else can he do, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it would be kind of redundant in a way, if he made legions with the Romans, now with Crassus maybe. It would be almost the same thing because he was Gladiatus, and then now he was Lapper. Now if he goes with Crassus, it'll be kind of the same story happening over and over. So in a way, I agreed that when Stephen DeKnight told me this, or Rob Tapert, I was like, yeah, I agree. I don't see the character going any further. So as sad as it is, obviously, to leave such a great story and a family in a way, because we became very close to one another over there. But it's necessary, and it keeps the story true,
He kind of got his own back though on the House of Badiatus, because he winds up with Lucretia, which was I thought that was kind of like a bit bizarre, but it made sense in a way. Right. But I just found the fact that you'd want Lucretia to be wearing the same red wig that she wore, when the House of Batiatus was kind of like in the Ascension. I found that to be rather strange.
Yeah, the red wig. Yeah, that was pretty twisted, I have to say.
Yeah, it was very, very twisted. But like you say, I think story-wise, it made sense for Ashur to come to an end that way. I was just sort of like I was just a bit surprised that it took that they took. I can't remember the character name now. Was it not Myra? Played by Cynthia. Navia, that's the one. I'm kind of surprised it took Navia so long to chop your head off. I thought I would have thought it would have been one blow.
No, I mean actually it made more sense because she is not a warrior. She's not a gladiator, even though Crixus trained her. But it's not easy. It's actually true. It isn't easy to chop somebody's head in one blow. It's actually physically very hard. So it was only gladiators trained and very victorious in the arena that were able to capture that and able to actually perfect that technique, for lack of a better word. And I believe Crixus told that to Navy in season 1. So it was kind of interesting to go back to it, because I remember the first conversation Crixus and Navy had. He said something about, have you seen how I clove someone's head off? He was like, it's not easy, you have to find the right angle, all that stuff. And so it's, and then it went back to it. It's kind of just to make a full cycle, because, Vengeance, in a way, put an end to a lot of stories. So you will see that, as most audience saw in some of the lines that we said, and the storyline, all of this stuff, a lot of stuff got done. Now it's different chapters, a new chapter.
How did you find working with Liam McIntyre for the few scenes you did do with him?
Now, listen, Liam is a really hard-working actor, and is a very genuine and a very good person, outside the screen. I mean, if you meet him, and you'll see that he's a really, really nice guy. He's a really good person, and he really wants to do justice to the role, especially coming from what season one had, and Andy's delivery in season one, which is a very, very big shoes to fill, and it's a very hard position to be in, in a way. So for somebody to step up and take it and say I can do it is very courageous, and I have my hats off for him for be able to do that. I had a great time working with Liam. I think he's doing a good job, and he's very humble about it. He's not letting any of the stuff get to his head. And I just love his enthusiasm. It's just like it reminds us all of what we loved acting for. It's that kid inside of us that wants to play.
Yeah.
And he's through and through wants to do that, and he wants to serve justice to the story and try to keep the legacy going. And he has a lot of respect for Andy and what Andy's done, and he in no way wants to replace that or change that. He just has his own take on it. So
I think he, from what I've seen the series already, because it finished airing a couple of months ago, because it was airing more or less in tandem with the US this time round here in the UK, and I think he did a really good job. It didn't really take me that long to adapt to the change of actor, and I thought it would have taken.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
I thought it would have taken me a bit longer, but fortunately, it didn't take me that long to adapt to him. I thought he did a really good job. He didn't try to do an imitation of Andy playing Spartacus, because he's sort of like he came and did what every good actor should do. He made it his own.
Yeah. It would be kind of suicidal to try to imitate somebody in acting. And you're just cutting down that creative tunnel kind of, and your own creative tunnel, and so it's not right. I don't think any actor should ever imitate anything rather than make it its own and create its own image of it.
Mm-hmm. So what have you been up to since Spartacus? I know that you've got a role in the new Star Trek movie. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Are you a bad guy? How are you finding working on that set?
Unfortunately, and I cannot elaborate on my role on Star Trek for a lot of reasons, but it was an amazing experience, and it was quite a learning experience for me, and I'm glad that I was part of it. I'm not even supposed to talk about Star Trek, but now it's on IMDb and all this stuff, so that's why people are noticing. Yeah,
I'm not going to ask you for any spoilers or any plot details, because there's no point really, because you. No. It's
obviously I cannot, and just out of respect, obviously, for everybody else, I will not do it either.
Mm.
So, but when I can, trust me, I will be talking.
Well, when you can, I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Trek fan.
I think they did an amazing sequel that people are going to just be mesmerized by.
Mm-hmm. So, were you a fan of Star Trek?
Yeah. I wasn't a Trekkie. I wasn't a die-hard Trekkie, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you one thing. After seeing the 2009 J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek, it made me a fan, because just a brilliant job of rebooting this franchise, and in a way that you don't have to be a Trekkie to actually want to see it, or you don't have to be a sci-fi fan to want to watch that movie. It was just a good movie. Mm-hmm. It was done really well, and the stories were really well, and brilliantly acted, and brilliantly written, brilliantly directed. So I remember it was in 2009. I saw it in New Zealand.
Wow.
It was aired in New Zealand, right? And when we started first season of Spartacus, we all went and we saw it there, and I was like, wow, this was good.
I'm kind of a fan of Star Trek. So I'm growing up with it, and growing up with the Next Generation, Star Trek, the original series, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise. I've seen them all. Seen all the movies. And even I have to admit that I think J.J. Abrams did a sterling job of actually making it accessible to a wider audience. But
yeah.
But I do know other fans that vehemently object to it, even to this day. And, I just don't understand the mentality of them, to be honest.
Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't know that there were some objections to it. But you know what? In the bottom line, when you are in show business, you can't please everybody. I mean, this is fact. You're not going to get everybody on board.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay, because in a way, you have to have an opinion. You have to have your own vision of something to make a stand in life. I think, period, to become somebody or to leave an impression and to be respected. And when you stand for something, not everybody's going to agree with it. Some people are going to disagree.
Well, I think some of these people expect, if they're going to do original series Star Trek, they expect to get William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and the entire bridge crew back together again. And I think if they do that, it's just sort of like becoming a parody of itself. It's kind of like getting the old fogies back on Zimmer frames and stuff like that. And no offense to William Shatner or any of the guys that made Star Trek so great to begin with, but I just think by casting Shatner as Kirk now, it just becomes it's just a bit of a joke. I think it was time it needed rebooting, to be honest.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you can. I mean, I think William Shatner did an amazing job back in the days, and what was it, in the 70s or the 80s when he did it. But if they were going to reboot this whole thing, that won't make any sense to have William Shatner in it.
But I was saying to this guy, I says, well, look, so what? They're remaking Star Trek. They've remade Shakespeare plays over and over again. How many versions of Hamlet have there been? How many versions, and says, it should be flattered. It should, it should think, oh well, they're rebooting Star Trek. That is, I think it's actually a testament to how good Star Trek is that someone's come along and reinterpreted it. It's just a different twist, and that's the way I look at it, because I guess I look at it from the creative point of view.
Well, listen, and in the bottom line, there are some people there's no point in talking to certain people because they're just not going to see it. They're stuck to their own way. They're stuck to their own guns. And, good for them. But you know what? There's a new times. There's a lot of great actors and a lot of great directors and writers out there. And to rob them or to judge them because you're just holding on to your ideas and not allow them to be, to create and do it, it doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. I think the new Star Trek was great. Like you said, it captured wider audience than the original one. And, if somebody likes it, if somebody doesn't like it, okay, somebody doesn't like it. You can't, as an artist, I think you cannot be bothered with these things when you're working. I do that myself. I put my best work at. I work hard and I stay true to my work and make sure that I give it all I can. And then in the end, somebody likes it or doesn't. This is out of my hand. I cannot worry about this stuff because that would be like kind of really create. It will kill your creative energy. It will limit you as an artist. You cannot just worry about just pleasing people because you have to be true to yourself, work hard, and then whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm. So, is there any other TV series or movies on the horizon that you're involved with other than Star Trek?
I did a small gig on Common Law. That's right after Spartacus, and obviously Star Trek was the main thing. But after that, to be honest with you, we had a lot of publicity that we were doing for the show. So we were doing a lot of traveling and Comic-Con and all this stuff. So we kind of got pretty caught up with all of that publicity stuff. And also I wanted some time off myself, to be honest with you. And after doing Spartacus, we are injured in a way, so it needs us time to recover.
Well, I'll certainly keep my eyes open, for you, because I kind of, I check Internet Movie Database pretty much once a week to see what actors that I know of are up to, and what new films and new roles have been cast in. But I was actually really, really surprised to actually see that you'd been cast in the untitled Star Trek sequel. I was really surprised about that. Yeah, I was surprised about that, but it was a good surprise.
Oh,
it was a good surprise because I'm kind of thinking, Nick's probably going to play a villain. He's going to play a villain, or he's going to play some sort of like ambiguous sort of character that's going to take on Captain Kirk and knock him down a bit or two.
Well, listen, I mean, I love playing challenging characters. It just happens that they're most of the characters I get are very, like you said, ambiguous. They're very quote unquote bad or evil, whatever you want to call them. But I love them, like characters like Ashur, or before that when I played on Crash, when I played Lieutenant Axel. I love character Ian that they make waves. I love to shake things up. I like to provoke people in my work. So I tend, for some reason, to get these kind of roles, because these kind of roles are mostly that fit the kind of stuff that I like. People that challenge you and make you antagonist or whatever. But that doesn't mean you won't see me in some good roles. To see me play the guy next door, hopefully, or do comedy. I would love to do comedy.
Cool.
So it's all in the works, my friend. It's all in the works.
Is there anyone involved in comedy that you'd like to work with?
My God, there are many. Steve Carell. Steve Carell is one of the people that I would love to work with. Yeah, there's so many. I don't know where to start, to be honest with you. There really are so many. Even Jim Carrey, Nathan, the guy that did the Birdcage.
Oh, the Birdcage, Robin Williams.
No, Robin Williams, obviously, but no, the other gentleman, Nathan. I can't remember his last name. Wow, this was really strange. He did Laughter on 23rd Floor. He's just brilliant, Mm-hmm. Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy. There's so many people I would love to work with, and just to do comedy with, and just to explore. Obviously, but Steve Carell is probably one of the top ones as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Steve Carell. I've seen him in some pretty good stuff. I thought it was really, really funny in 40-Year-Old Virgin. I'm not sure if you've seen that film.
Oh my God! Oh, of course, I own it. Oh my God! I think it's just brilliant, mate. It's just brilliant. He was just right on.
I just wet myself at the scenes where he's getting his where he's getting his chest waxed.
Oh my God! Yeah. I think a lot of movies were based on some of that stuff that they did for the old version.
Absolutely.
That was just brilliant. That was just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a bit disconcerting actually, because my front room's full of DVDs and Star Trek memorabilia and Doctor Who stuff and figurines and stuff like that, and so was his in that movie. The only difference is I'm not a virgin.
I'm saying, man. But see, that's what I like. It was because in a way sometimes you were laughing, you found yourself laughing, but he was in pain, he was suffering. And you find yourself laughing at it. You know what I'm saying? That's the genius of it. Is when you find something that's very true and very deep, but yet you find yourself still laughing. It's like one of the playwrights that I love. I don't know if you're familiar with any playwrights, but there's this one playwright that I love so much. His name is Neil Simon.
Oh, I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I love his work, is because his work is it's so, like when you work on a Neil Simon piece, a play. It's so deep, and it has so many layers, and it's very hurtful. When you're working on it, you do not see the comedy. When you're doing it, you see it like, this guy is in pain. But it's just the way that he put it together. People laugh. You can't help but laugh. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the brilliance is, and that's what I thought was really brilliant about 40-Year-Old Virgin. You're laughing, but you can see the guy's pain. He wants to get laid, and he's just not happening.
Yeah, you kind of laughing at yourself as well, because you kind of think back to what it was like, when you was actually when you actually wasn't getting any action and trying to get laid, So
yeah. But it's brilliant. Think about it. We were most of us had to deal with that at 13. Imagine if you're 40 years old and you still haven't got it. Your life must change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your attitude changes, so they did a good job with that movie.
He did. It was a fantastic movie. Even the supporting actors were really good as well.
Yeah. Everybody was brilliant in it.
Was Seth Rogen in that? He wasn't he? He played the...
Seth Rogen, Seth Rogen was in it. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
He played the cynical one. He played the one that borrowed him his porn collection, right?
Yeah. He's like the one who said something like they went to Mexico or something to watch a girl get screwed by a horse or something. That was good. That was such funny, man. Yeah. That was a good movie.
Yeah, those are sort of comedy movies that I like. The ones like that. I studied acting. Back in my back in the 90s. So I've heard of Neil Simon. I've heard of Brett. I did quite a few Brecht plays, Bertolt Brecht, Ibsen,
of course.
Anthony Burgess. I was actually in a production of Clockwork Orange.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I played 4 different characters in that. I actually went up for the main role of Alex. Didn't get it, but I got cast as one of the Droogs. But then I just asked, well, is it okay if I just take a rain check on this and just play 4 character roles, and they agreed to let me do it. So I played 4 different character roles.
Congratulations, man! That's great.
So I passed up what was a bit of a meatier role for 4 different very short character roles that are within the play. And it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny as well, because each of these character roles were in scene after scene, so they were all back together. So I was having to do really rapid change backstage to come out as a con, and then go backstage.
Yeah, but that's great, man. But that's great. That's a great challenge for an artist. It's great. You keep your instrument sharp.
I really enjoyed it. It was actually a really fun time.
Yeah. I bet.
But I think the most challenging thing they ever had me do is I'm actually a singer.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm a trained.
Oh, yeah. You said you're going to play guitar or something. Yeah, I remember you said that to me in an email.
Yeah, I'm actually a trained singer. I've been learning to play guitar for about 2 years, so I've gotten pretty good at guitar. But I've been singing since I was a little kid, really. When I did the performing arts sort of thing, they actually cast me in a play called Marisade.
Of course, Marisade. Yeah, of course.
Which is crew tier theatre, and they had me play. Wow. They had me play the Cucuruku role in that, so I was actually a member of the chorus, Cucuruku. So did lots of dance routines, which I couldn't stand because I hate dance, can't dance. And learned about 14 songs, which was crazy.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, but I learned the songs quicker than did the dialogue. That was the crazy part, because I find learning songs quite easy, whereas learning dialogue, it's a bit of a chore. But for some reason, I find it easier to learn songs.
Really?
Yeah, because of the melody and stuff like that. I find it easy to learn songs, which is really, really weird. And when I was doing it, I used to get terrible stage fright. When I was doing the acting, got awful stage fright.
Right.
Yet when I was singing, I didn't get stage fright.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. That's actually not strange at all, man. And it's not strange that people, remember songs better than they remember words, because it's something about the melody, something about the rhythm and the music in it. It makes it easier for you to understand. I mean, there was that thing back then that people were, when they memorize something, they would put it in a song, and that way they remember it better. So I've heard that before. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I get it. I mean, if you give me a microphone and tell me to sing in front of people, I probably will get that stage fright. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, that's tough. But believe it or not, though, Ian, I think every actor, to a certain degree, still gets nervous to some degree. I still get a little nervous when I get on front of a camera or on stage. It's just the amount of nerves that differs from how far you've been working and how long you've, depends on your experience, I think. Mm. But that nerve never, I think in a way, never leaves you. And in a way, you don't want it to completely leave you, because you still want to get that excitement going, You just don't want it to cripple you. That's the main thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think, I think what one of the things I did learn when I did all the acting was exactly that. The nervousness is actually a good thing to have, because you don't become too complacent.
Right. Right. You don't want to just walk in and it almost becomes like not caring. You don't want to go through that.
Yeah, and it's like it's, you don't want to phone a performance in. It's like
No. That's when it's time to call it quits, man. You don't want to. If you feel like you're phoning something in, it's time to change careers, or it's time to reevaluate some stuff in your life.
Mm-hmm. Well, Nick, I'd love to talk to you again.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you for your time again. It was always a pleasure talking to you, mate.
Yeah, and obviously when Star Trek comes out, I'll be talking to you about that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And that there was Nick Tarabay. Sorry for the little conversation about acting towards the end there. I did actually study drama. I did all those plays. And to be honest, that was kind of got towards the tail end of the interview. And as I said at the top of the hour, I've actually interviewed Nick before, so we kind of know each other. Anyway, I'd like to bring my friend Matt on now. Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Ian?
I'm really good. I'm gonna bring you on. Do you have any news about you got some news this week, haven't you? You've just sort of like released a new web series.
Yeah, I co-produced and co-directed a new web series with Jacob Belinsky and Joe Atkinson, and it's called The Book of Dallas. It just premiered on just past Monday. It was September 17th on Codecast. It's Code with a K. And it's gotten over, in 3 days, it's gotten over 110,000 views so far.
Okay, well, is there actually a website for that, a direct website? Or?
If you go to Codecast, it's KOLDCAST. Let me look it up real quick here. I was ill-prepared. And .tv. And if you go there, you can find us. I think our direct link would probably be, let me double check, make sure I tell you right, is if you want to go directly to us, it would be codecast.tv/show/book-of-Dallas. But if you go to codecast.tv and do a search, you'll find us, if you don't see us on the front page.
So basically, just go Codecast TV, type in Book of Dallas in the search engine, it'll turn it up. It's well worth a look, folks. I watched the first episode, which was, the first episode was very, very character-driven, but it ends on quite a cliffhanger, and it's it's 18 minutes of pure quality. Is this first part of Book of Dallas? So if you haven't already, go on to Codecast TV and check out Book of Dallas.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go over some news now. For those that just joined us, unfortunately, the Nick Tarabay interview it's just ended. So you probably need to get that in the archive. So this is basically the part of the show. We're just going to go over some genre news to kind of see the hour out. And Mark is on here to discuss some of these news items with me. So the first one I've got is Sin City 2 to shoot in November. Finally. And I've got a nice little picture of Rosario Dawson sticking her tongue out, looking very alluring. Sort of like I can't help myself. I've got the hots for Rosario Dawson. Anyway, she's sort of like she's basically revealed that Sin City: A Dame to Kill For will actually begin shooting in November. Dawson, who will reprise her role as Gale in the movie, said that she's excited about the forthcoming shoot. She told MTV, "I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say, but I'm going to say November. I'm going to be honest and put it out there. It's very soon. I'm excited. Of course, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For is based on Frank Miller comic book Sin City. The original film premiered in 2005, and has since been source of speculation as to when the sequel would be, and we finally got word on that sequel back in April. A Dame to Kill For is the title of a second volume of Miller's noir series of comics. The writer will serve as co-director on the movie along with Robert Rodriguez. Dawson describes Sin City: A Dame to Kill For as sort of a prequel to the Sin City we've already watched. So if it's a prequel, how are they going to account for the fact that she's sort of like 7 years older?
Makeup.
Makeup, CGI.
Yep, makeup and CGI. That's how.
She doesn't look that. She doesn't look 7 years older anyway. I don't think so.
No.
She doesn't age it.
Actors don't age. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first one, and it's been a long wait.
It's been too long of a wait, So like, I remember. I think we've been reporting on Sin City since we actually, since we moved the site over to, cover comics, films, and TV, whereas before we just used to cover TV. So we've been reporting on this sequel since 2008.
It's been a long time.
It has. I can't wait to see it actually myself. I enjoyed the first one much like yourself. I'm glad that Rodriguez is doing it. I'm glad that Frank Miller isn't directing it on his own. There's only sort of like one film I can think of that sums up why Frank Miller should never be allowed to direct a movie solo. I think it was called The Spirit.
Yes, it was.
And I happen to own it.
Wait, so you own it? Must have been halfway good, right?
No, I picked it up for something like £1.99 in a bargain bin. I thought, oh well, it's £1.99. May as well check it out. I've since taken to using it as a posters for my copy. Oh.
Yeah, I think Frank Miller is a little better as a graphic artist and writer, and a graphic novel artist, writer, and also as a co-director than just a director. So
mm-hmm. He was actually down to direct around at the same time The Spirit was coming out. He was actually down to direct a reboot of Buck Rogers on film. Thankfully, it didn't happen.
But he's a talented guy. I just don't think if that's an example of how the best work, then he needs to stay away from it, from directing at least, by himself.
Yeah. And that's come from a director, folks. So here we go.
But then again, hey, if he co-directs a few more times, maybe he'll learn. So who knows? But yeah, Spirit wasn't so hot.
Yeah, maybe she'd let him direct Reality on Demand Season 2.
There you go. I'd go with that, yeah. He can get experience working on Reality on Demand. I can handle that.
Yeah, should get him lots of hits. Another bit of news here is that NBC are actually developing a television adaptation of the popular comic book Midnight Mass, which was actually released back in 2005 through Vertigo Comics, I think. Or was it? No, 2002, I think. Yeah, it's 2002. But basically, it would seem that the success of Grimm has put a spell on the network, because we're actually currently circling plans to develop this Midnight Mass as a television series. For those not to know about Midnight Mass was a fantasy horror comic book series which was released through Vertigo Comics back in 2002. The comic was penned by John Rosen, and it centered on the world-famous occult experts and monster hunters Adam and Julia Cadman, who lived in the town of Midnight, Massachusetts. Comics creator John Rosen will serve as an executive consultant on the show, which is being produced by Warner Brothers, and Evan Doherty, who penned Snow White and the Huntsman, will write the pilot script as well as co-executive produce. This will be the second attempt at developing Midnight Mass into a series. The first attempt was back in 2009 when a different writing team had a stab at it, but ultimately failed to get it to the pilot episode stage. So, I don't know, have you ever heard of Midnight Mass?
I have not, but the Vertical line is some really good comic books, so it might be a very good book, but I haven't actually read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up in trades because I kind of like the premise of it.
Mhm. That'd be cool. It'd be cool. It sounds cool, at least.
It does. It does sound quite cool. And I'm just trying to figure out would it be better than Grimm or something entirely different? Because the thing is with Grimm, I didn't like Grimm when it started.
Mhm. Right. I had mixed feelings when it first started.
And it's kind of grown on me. I mean, I think what I didn't like about it is that they, the guy that plays the main role, he's not really an actor. He's sort of like the winner of a reality TV series who's kind of fallen into acting, and
That's true.
And you can tell.
You can a little bit. But it's also about the writing of his character. They don't have him do that much. They have now. They've started to get him to embrace his grim side more versus just the cop side, and he's become more interesting because of that. And then the whole conspiracy with his mother and his mother appearing, all that has made it a little more interesting. He just, he's overpowered or by his co-star that plays the wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Silas Weir Mitchell, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Just he's such a good actor, and his character is so interesting. He tends to kind of steal limelight a little bit. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's a great story about one of our favourite TV shows. We ran this earlier this week on the website. Apparently, Amanda Tappin is to have a major recurring role in the new 8th season of Supernatural.
Yeah.
This comes from TV Line. She'll be playing a major recurring role in the popular series. Tappin will play Naomi, a character that showrunner Jeremy Carver describes as cool and mysterious, part of a new group of angels who've never been seen before. The casting call sheet describes Naomi as a no-nonsense bureaucrat and a Matt Damon in The Good Shepherd. She wears a business suit and has her hair pulled back. Read the notice. However, Naomi is less together than she appears to be. Her efficient manner belies a deeper emotionality. Tapping's first episode of Supernatural will be in episode 7, which is titled A Middle Slice of Kevin. Hey, that rhymes. Episode 7, that is titled A Middle Slice of Kevin. Did I do that deliberately?
Yes, of course.
I must have. That rhymed. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
I think it's going to be cool. I like Amanda Tapping from Sanctuary and Stargate SG-1. So she's a good actor, and she might make a good angel. Those angels can be really good. Yeah, they are. So, except for Misha Collins' character. So he's just kind of loony right now.
Yeah, I mean, Misha's gone proper loony. I'm hoping they're returning back to sort of like a rather straight-niced angel guy watching porn like he did in season 5.
I hope.
Do you remember that? Do you remember the episode where they'll sort of like hold up in a motel room and Castiel was watching porn and doing a running commentary on it?
It's a different species, right? They're like watching Discovery Channel or something, animals. those funny monkeys.
Okay. Isn't it, going on to the British shows now, a couple of British-related news stories. Apparently Merlin returns to BBC One next month for the 5th season. But we don't know whether it's going to be the last season as of yet. It may well be, by what's been said here, but I actually did hear rumblings a while back, and this was actually confirmed by the creator, Johnny Capps, that they were negotiating to try and get a 6th season of the show. But this is basically what's been said, so far. Apparently the writers actually know the ending. They know how Merlin is going to end on its television run. And, they actually announced at Comic-Con earlier this year that they're contemplating doing a trilogy of movies as well. So there's a lot going on with Merlin at the moment. But, the writers know how the series is going to end. And basically at a recent press event, Johnny Capps and Julian Murphy teased reporters by revealing, that they knew how it was going to end. And have actually pretty much known how the series is going to end from the very beginning of the series. And this is what was said. I think what's interesting about it is it's always been about the end, Cap said. Murphy agreed. We were talking about Arthur's death in episode 8, series 1. There's something about this legend that works because it failed. They did create this Camelot, and it failed. You can't really run away from that. But it remains to be seen how we get there and how long it takes. At the press screening for the show's 5th run, Murphy said he is now horrified by how certain scenes in Merlin's first 2 series were realised. If we look back at the first and second series, we're pretty horrified at the way we executed it, genuinely, because we can do things so much better now, he explained. And Merlin's actually going to be returning to BBC One next month, and I should imagine the Sci-Fi channel in the US will probably start running it out there again, probably sometime in January, if they go according to their usual form.
Mm-hmm.
You a fan of Merlin?
I haven't actually watched Merlin, but it sounds like Smallville, at least in the sense of being a prelude to a big story we know. So is that kind of how it's falling? That they're all younger, right?
Yeah, they're all younger, but it's actually better than Smallville.
Well, yeah. They're not in high school.
Yeah, because they're not in high school and they're all better actors.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. It's the British accent. Actors just need British accents. It makes them sound better.
Well,
it's more dramatic.
The lead actors, they've got more charisma than Tom Welling, put it that way. I always found Tom Welling not a hell of a lot of charisma. He sort of did all right for Smallville, but I've seen him in other stuff, and he just doesn't really come over. He comes over as kind of a pretty boy, but not really all that charismatic.
Yeah, he kind of does in a lot of the parts I've seen, a lot of the roles he's done that I've seen. Has he done anything since Smallville? I
think he's made the crossover from acting to producing now, and
really?
I think he's sort of like more interested in production now, which is, which good for him, because he might actually be better as a producer than he was as an actor.
Ian. Yeah, I mean, and he also gets typecast a little bit by being Superman, and then they won't let him be Superman in the movie, so it's kind of a type line. And I know he went 10 years acting, so that's a long time. He may want to break. I would.
Well, they've hired a British guy to play Superman anyway, which, goes show what, that their options in America must have been pretty limited for them to have done that, right?
I would guess. I don't know.
Was you not available?
Huh?
Was you not available?
I wasn't available. Gosh. I was like, I'm doing Reality on Demand. Sorry.
Okay. Little bit more news. This is actually quite a fun story. I'm going to read this. I had fun writing this one up, actually, so here we go. Here's an idea. How about we get Peter Jackson in to direct the 50th anniversary episode of Doctor Who? As ideas go, it's not a bad one, and Peter Jackson would certainly love to do it if given the chance. In a recent interview for the Waikato Times, Matt Smith revealed that he'd very much love to work with director Peter Jackson on an episode of Doctor Who. The Waikato Times is a New Zealand newspaper, which is why it's pretty much unpronounceable. And basically, the article that Matt Smith's talking in, it actually prompted the paper to approach the director and ask for his thoughts. And it seems that Peter Jackson would be well and truly up for it, given the opportunity. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I think Matt's fantastic. Just name a time and place, and I'll be there. So apparently Jackson is a long-time Doctor Who fan from way back, and even owns one of the costumes worn by Sylvester McCoy's 7th Doctor. I've got to say, Mark, this is me freelancing commenting now, but I actually agree with Matt Smith when he says that New Zealand will be a fantastic location to shoot an episode of the series. It'd be a bit different from the shooting in America.
It would be. That'd be pretty cool.
They seem to be shooting a lot in America at the moment, or using a lot of American locales. Though you can slap me on the wrist for this, because a town called Mercy, it was a Western, it was actually shot in Spain. So they didn't shoot that one in America, even though it was actually about America.
And it had an American in it, Ben Browder.
No, it had an Australian in it.
Was Ben Browder Australian?
Ben Browder's Australian, yeah, not American. He just does a better American accent than us Brits. I've got to tell you, I was watching that episode on Saturday, and some of those accents were dodgy.
I didn't realize. And he played a voice for a cowboy too once on Justice League Unlimited, didn't he?
I don't know. I mean, he might have done. Yeah, he might have done.
I think so. I didn't realize he was an American. I mean, I know Farscape was down in like New Zealand, but I thought he was one of the American cast members. Oh well.
No, he's Australian.
Wow.
But yeah, I'd actually love to see Peter Jackson direct an episode of Doctor Who. What do you reckon?
I think that would be pretty cool. I would watch it.
You know what would be the absolute dream? It'd be the absolute dream if they got Neil Gaiman to write a third episode. Because Neil Gaiman's actually announced recently that he's working on a second episode.
Yeah, he is.
Now,
you want him to write and Peter Jackson direct?
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
You know?
That would be a pretty amazing combination.
It would be, you know, it'd be a fantastic combination. It'd be a fantastic combination even if Moffat was to write and Jackson was to direct. But with Gaiman having not written much Doctor Who and Jackson directing, that'd be so much more of a novelty, I think.
Mm-hmm. That'd be almost so epic you'd almost want to just pour a little more money into it and make it like a special 2-hour episode or something. If it was good enough script.
Yeah, you know, they could shoot in San Francisco and have a big motorcycle chase.
There you go. That's great.
They've done that already. They did that in Doctor Who, the movie.
Okay, hour and a half long, like Sherlock. How about that?
Yeah, that certainly be the trick. Okay. Oh shit! This is just in, folks. And this is actually on Hollywood Report Heat Vision. Just surfing while talking to you there. That's Lone Ranger crew member dies on set. Updated, Disney confirms that a staffer on the set of a Johnny Depp starring Western died of an apparent drowning.
Oh wow.
Crew member working on Disney's Lone Ranger has died on the set in an apparent drowning. Disney confirmed to the Hollywood Reporter that the death of the crew member on the Johnny Depp starring Western occurred today. The worker's name has not been released. We regretfully confirm that a Lone Ranger crew member has passed away after being taken to a local hospital. Our hearts and thoughts are with his family, friends and colleagues at this time, and our full support is behind the investigation into the circumstances of this terrible event, said the studio in a statement confirming a TMZ report. The crew member is said to have died during preparation for an underwater action scene. The person was not a stunt performer and did not die during filming. Disney is investigating the circumstances. The big budget movie, which is being directed by Gore Verbinski, has filmed in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado and Utah, but moved to Los Angeles in September. The shoot has endured wind and dust storms, and Depp reportedly injured himself during a horse riding scene. But wow.
Wow. It can be dangerous work. It's kind of weird that he's not a stunt person and he died that way.
It is. It's kind of weird how he's not really a main member of the cast and Hollywood Reporter chose to report on it.
Yeah, I know that's unusual too.
It must be a slow news day.
Well, you know, and that's just a weird situation, so I don't know.
But I agree with Disney. It's pretty tragic. You know, something like that happened, and
it is.
Thoughts with his family and friends.
It is. Well, you're making movies for people to enjoy and stuff. You don't want anybody to lose their life over something, for something that's supposed to bring joy.
Okay, we've got one last news story. We've got about 5 minutes left to kill. CW was developing a contemporary twist on Alice in Wonderland. CW is looking to go where the Sci-Fi Channel went a couple of years back by developing a more contemporary take on the classic Alice in Wonderland. The project is titled Wonderland with a U instead of an O. Unlike the sci-fi version, the CW show will be a full series and not a mini-series, and is most likely inspired by the huge success that rival network ABC has had with Once Upon a Time. According to Deadline, this will be a production from Matt G's Wonderland Productions, which will do the series in partnership with WBTV. Written by the Playboy Club creator Chad Hodge, the drama project centers on a young female detective in present-day Los Angeles who discovers another world that exists under the surface of this ultra-modern city. Hodge will write the pilot script and is to executive produce with Matt G and Wonderland's Peter Johnson. This is just one of 2 public domain properties that CW are looking to develop for the 2013-14 television series. The other is a televised version of the classic Sleepy Hollow story. With its premise of a female cop procedural with a fantasy twist, Wonderland sounds rather similar to CW's new show, Beauty and the Beast, which is a remake of the cult 1980s favourite. The new project reunites Hodge with the CW, where he created and executive produced the drama Runaway. So, yeah, I'm not sure what you reckon about that.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say about more details. I mean, I like the Alice Wonderland, spins, twists that they take sometimes. If it's dark, it'd be kind of cool. But I don't know. It's CW, so it's hit and miss what their shows are going to be like. So. Yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to Arrow. See what that's going to be like. But
yeah, well, I love Supernatural. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. Definitely my favorite show airing right now. And then Arrow sounds really cool, but some of the other shows like Beauty and the Beast, I'm a little mixed. I'll just wait and see. And I personally don't enjoy Vampire Diaries that much, but that's just because Twilight's left a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, well, Twilight gave me, Twilight kind of put me to sleep.
Yeah, me too.
It's cruelty to humans and animals, that film. If ever you want to put a dog down or a cat down, just staple them to the sofa, hold their eyes open with paper clips and force them to watch Twilight. They'll be dead in no time.
Yeah, it's rough. I know some people love it, but I'm not been able to get into it. And I never read the book, so.
Some people love it. How much money has it made at the theaters?
Yeah, it's made tons of money. Yeah.
Crazy. I
think it's the equivalent of the boy bands. Like, when you're young, not so much us, but like girls when they're young, and maybe guys too, but they when they're young, they love a boy band, like, New Kids on the Block or whatever. And then when they get older, they're kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed, but yeah, I used to like them. I think that's how Twilight's going to be eventually. It's the film version.
Okay. Well, I think that's about pretty much what I've got time for this week. Next week, we've got a great show coming up. Have you got another episode of John Retainment coming up, or are you on hiatus?
I think we're on hiatus. We may do a little special one next week. We'll see. But we're on hiatus of guests. We have a couple of really cool guests coming up, but we're not ready to announce them quite yet.
Okay, well, that's about all we've got time for this week. Next week, we have a really cool guest in the form of Arvid Nelson, who writes the Dynamite Comics, and he does the Lord of the Jungle comic, the Dynamite Comics. So that's a really fun interview that we've got for you coming up next week. And tomorrow night, we have Manu Intarim on Jeff Trek, so look out for that tomorrow. That's about all I've got time for. Matt, thanks for coming along and riding shotgun with me on the last half of the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay. And that's it for this week. Bye.
Good night.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.